Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into Carlo Ancelotti's quiet leadership. In the last episode, we explored how Carlo Ancelotti builds a family-like culture, navigates the leadership arc, and masters trust and hierarchy within his teams. Today, we're taking it a step further, looking at the decision-making and discipline that sets him apart, how he balances analytics with intuition, and the lessons from his roots that have shaped his unique style that has gathered him enormous success over his career. If you thought the first episode was insightful, wait until you hear what's coming next. Let's get busy. Carlo Ancelotti's leadership hinges on one critical skill: decision making. He sees it as an art, having to blend strategy and intuition to navigate the complexities of football and life. Decision making begins with a clear understanding of his team's identity. The identity isn't static, it evolves with the players, the club, and specifically the situation. However, no matter how much it changes, it must always remain true to the core values of the team. Carlo believes that tactics are very important, however, tactics must complement the team's identity rather than dictate it. He reflects on this at Real Madrid, where maintaining an attacking ethos was a non-negotiable. At Madrid, we could change the system to suit the type of players at my disposal so that we could have more control of the ball. But we have never strayed from the identity of the team. Carlo has always embraced adaptability, especially when facing opponents like Mourinho, Guardiola, or Ferguson. He acknowledges that success requires balance and respect for your own style with adjustments for the opposition. In football, you have to counter what the opponent wants to do. Against Mourinho, you always have to adapt. Against Ferguson, you must try to disrupt. Ferguson spoke about something similar when United played Barcelona. In 2008, when United were on their way to the final, I believe it was the semi-final where Paul Scholes scored the only goal of the two legs. Alex Ferguson said, although United won, his team didn't display the club's identity. They played defensive, being super conscious of players like Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi and Deco at the time. So Ferguson declared to himself that the next time United played Barcelona, they were going to play within their own identity, all out attack. Now, funny enough, they lost. However, Ferguson took the approach that win, lose or draw, we were going out in the United way. One of Carlo's trademarks is his calm demeanor, even in the most high pressure moments. He believes that anger and frustration have their place, but only when used sparingly and strategically. For Carlo, leadership is about staying composed and choosing the right moments to make a statement. Pick your moments for maximum effect, and then quickly return to calmness. This philosophy extends to how he provides feedback. Carlo emphasizes that constructive criticism should always be forward-looking, helping players improve without undermining their confidence. This balance of discipline and encouragement keeps the team motivated and focused. Leadership means making tough calls in the heat of the moment. Whether it's deciding substitutions during a critical match or managing player expectations off the pitch, there is a level of preparation and instinct. Tactically, you have to be strict, but tactically, you also have to be flexible. Carlo also stresses the importance of trust, not just in others, but in yourself. While preparation is key, there are times when instinct must take over. If you need more time to come to decisions, even after considering it all rationally, in the end, I trust my instinct. Carlo Ancelotti's approach to decision making is a reminder that leadership is as much about clarity as it is about courage. Successful decisions are rooted in a deep understanding of identity, respect for others' contributions, and the ability to adapt under pressure. Balance preparation with intuition. Embrace flexibility without losing your core values, and recognize the importance of every individual achieving success. When making decisions, you have to balance making the right call with the values of the club and unity of the players in mind. This inspires confidence. In today's game, analytics has become an indispensable part of football. However, Carlo is keen to emphasize the importance of data being a tool that helps and supplements decisions, but must never replace human intuition and leadership. In an era where numbers and metrics dominate conversations, Carlo's focus remains on the importance of intuition and eye test. That's the argument many make. Football has lost its magic due to the power of analytics. People feel the expressive style of players back in the day has gone due to the analytics taking over. To some degree, they have a point. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Data provides structure and insights, but it's the manager's role to interpret and apply it with nuance. For instance, with governing bodies creating different tournaments for financial gain, the number of games continue to increase. Carlo relies on this data to ensure the physical demands of the players aren't stretched beyond their capabilities. I know of managers who willfully ignore the data produced by the analytics departments, but this cannot last forever. However, if you rely on the numbers without analysis, you will lose what football is about. Carlo Ancelotti's use of data gives us insight into the balancing act he has to play. He firmly reiterates how analytics can provide invaluable insights. They must be used thoughtfully, paired with intuition, and always focused on the human side of things. For leaders in any field, use data to inform, not dictate. Recognize its strengths, but remain aware of its limitations. Every leader is shaped by their origins. For Carlo Ancelotti, those roots trace back to a quiet farm in Reggiolo, where discipline, humility, and hard work became the foundation of his leadership style. These early lessons would eventually influence how he would approach football, leadership, and life itself. Growing up on a farm, he witnessed his father work long hours, often starting before dawn and finishing well into the night. I find it interesting how those who witness their parents work hard usually have an aptitude for working hard. My father worked very hard. Every day he started at 4 in the morning and worked until 6, 7, or even 8 o'clock at night. Despite modest means, Carlo remembers this period of his life as a happy period. Like most people who come from modest means, they learn to make the best out of little. We didn't have money, but I remember this time as a really happy period in my life, with plenty of laughter. From these experiences, Carlo learned that success is not about shortcuts, but about consistently showing up and doing the work. This farm life resilience became a core principle in his leadership. Beyond his father, Carlo found inspiration in teammates and mentors who shaped his leadership style. One of his earliest influences was Lucio Mongardi, a calm and composed teammate at Parma who led by example. Mongardi was the only one who was calm in every situation, a leader you could trust. Sometimes it's the people who are right beside us on our level that can have major impacts on how we behave. Mongardi as a player was the standard that resonated with him. I wanted to be the player who had more personality and influence, who was a real professional and example to the rest of the team. Carlo's transition from player to manager was influenced by the mentors he encountered throughout his career. Figures like Niels Lindholm showed him the power of calm authority and communication. With Lindholm, it was his style that was unusual. He was quiet but strong. When I became a manager, I realized that. What Lindholm showed me is that you need to give players some information, not a lot, and the players need the freedom to express themselves. Carlo absorbed lessons on balancing authority with respect, learning that every leader must adapt to different personalities and environments. The big change today is the player status. Now they make their own decisions, but when I played, we were the property of the club. There is an understanding that players are different today than they were in the past. Every new generation is different from the previous. Leaders should embrace the differences and try and understand those differences. Leaders can be guilty of comparing different generations. The moment they are in such thoughts, it demonstrates a rigid mentality or a struggle to be flexible to the demands of the new generation. A recent example of this is Carlo Ancelotti saying he wanted to ban phones in the change room. In this day and age, we're all addicted to our phones. So Carlo said he wanted to ban phones in the change room. They asked him, is he serious? He said, yes, he's serious. The captain came up to him quietly and said, there's no way he can ban phones in the changing room. Carlo said he's not going to ban phones in the changing room, he was just joking. But it just goes to show us how different the generations were. Carlo in his generation probably had no phone, or there were probably no phones in the dressing room, whereas in this day and age, every player is probably on their phones. He has consistently blended old school values with modern strategies, creating a leadership style that stands the test of time. His journey shows that great leaders are not born, they are shaped by the lessons they learn from their environment, their mentors, and their mistakes. Reflect on your own roots. Who and what has shaped your way of thinking? What experiences defined your values? Leadership is as much about where you're coming from and where you are going. Embrace your past, learn from it, and use it as a foundation to lead with authenticity and purpose. This next phase isn't just for leaders, but for everyone. Staying composed when the world around you descends into chaos. Football management is often a storm of emotions, external pressures, and unforeseen challenges. Yet Carlo has mastered the art of clarity. How does he do this? By focusing on what he can control, knowing when to switch off, and leaning on the wisdom of role models. Football management, like life, is full of variables you can't predict or influence. In my job, there are 3 things that I cannot control: the president, the supporters, and the media. I have learned not to worry so much about these. We have all heard the saying, focus on what you can control. But man, life can throw some serious obstacles your way. It can be very difficult. Madness or not, I love my job. I respect the people that I work with, and I have their respect from the start. By zoning in on the controllables, this helps Carlo create a calm and focused environment for his team. It allows him to shield them from external noise that can disrupt their performances. At the elite level, Carlo cannot afford for that to happen. In an industry as relentless as football, knowing when to step back is a skill in itself. With such high stakes, you can imagine these managers and coaches will be working crazy hours. However, Carlo stresses the importance of switching off, not as a sign of weakness, but as a strategy for maintaining balance, sanity, and clarity. Switching off is effective because it's not always possible to solve problems immediately. For Carlo, this means retreating to his sanctuary, to his home. Whether it's spending time outdoors or simply enjoying quiet moments, he recharges by detaching from the madness. With all the demands on my time to deal with the players, the game, the people at the club, the media, you might imagine to keep going, I need a happy home to go back to. People often don't realize rest is important. Switching off allows you to come back to the same problems with a fresh perspective. The problems aren't going away, but your ability to solve them will be difficult with a clouded mind. Relax, switch off, and come back. Throughout his career, Carlo has leaned on reference points, people and philosophies that guided him through turbulent times. I hope I have made it clear throughout this book just how important it is to have people as reference points. One of Carlo's favourite quotes comes from Michael Jordan: "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." I'm sure Michael Jordan learned that from Phil Jackson. You might want to check that episode out. Carlo found lessons from multiple resources, people like Michael Jordan to cultural famous movies like The Godfather, considering he's Italian. The film shows the two most important things are respect and calm authority. Life can be chaotic, whether you're managing a football team or juggling responsibilities at work or home. Carlo Ancelotti's approach to managing madness offers a blueprint for staying grounded. Focus on the controllables. Don't waste energy on external factors you can't influence. Find time to switch off. Stepping back allows you to recharge and approach problems with a clearer mind. Learn from role models. Keep reference points in your life, people or principles that guide you through chaos. In any position in life, good luck avoiding chaos. No matter how much you try, it will find you. I remember someone saying, in life, you're always in these three phases. 1, you're about to enter a madness. 2, you are currently in a madness. And 3, you're just about leaving the madness. By staying composed, focusing on what matters, and recharging when you need, you can lead with clarity. Over these 2 episodes, we've uncovered the secrets behind Carlo Ancelotti's framework to success, how he fosters trust, builds a family culture, navigates the pressures of leadership, and makes decisions with a balance of intuition and data. We've seen how his humble beginnings, lessons from role models, and calm authority have allowed him to lead with grace and purpose. Carlo's approach to leadership goes far beyond the football pitch. It's a philosophy for life. I'm sure you can now connect the dots with his various teams as to how each block was used to ensure his teams won. Whether it was adapting the system to suit Ronaldo, or the AC Milan Christmas tree formation to suit the players, or gathering team unity in a PSG team that hadn't won the league in 19 years. You can see how these principles come together to form success wherever he went. These principles offer timeless lessons if truly understood will ensure you will win consistently. Carlo has proven that. Thank you for joining me on this journey through quiet leadership. The lessons are super valuable. Don't be surprised if you see me do another episode on Carlo Ancelotti. I hope you found it as inspiring and thought-provoking as I have. If you missed part 1, go back and check it. It will connect all the dots. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next episode to understand past lessons for future wins.